Good morning. Happy New Year, even though it's February 7th already. Happy 2023. I'm Sabrina. It's nice to meet you. And if you're old friends, hello again. And if you're new friends, welcome. And I hope that you enjoy this video. This is the first video I've done this year. And I have to be honest, I have put off this video since November of last year. For a number of reasons. And first of all, before I say anything else, I am not a teacher, I am not a doctor, I am not a professional therapist, I am not even a professional entertainer or anything. I am just Sabrina. I have a lot of life experience that I like sharing, I like communicating, I like listening to people's stories, both good people and bad people. I like to communicate. And I am a reader. I would not say that I'm some extraordinary, experienced, famous reader. But I am a reader. And I would like to do this year's reading. What has put me off a lot in creating this video is that I had in mind like this perfect video. And I wanted to be dressed a certain way and have certain lighting and certain editing under my feet and things like that, and all of those things have honestly only delayed me and helped me procrastinate. And that's not a good thing, especially when the universe is literally screaming in your ears to do it. So I am who I am, and whether you are a person who is quiet, never does videos, or not, your silence does still influence people. Your lack of participation can easily influence people. The other reason that this video has taken me so long to do is because I've had a lot of information come in. The other day I heard a really great reader say, "Oh, the universe is quiet." And I would say the universe is not possessive. But for me, the universe is not quiet. It has been very loud. And I know that things like the internet make it a little louder because the internet is really like a whole world of its own, and anytime you go online, you are opening your energy to everyone's energy, from past, the future, people presently, their energy, everything they're going through. So there has been a lot of times that I've had a very difficult time going, okay, I'm going to talk about this main subject and these sub-subjects, and this is going to be the information and da-da-da. I wanted to do it in an organized way, but there's just so much to say. There's so much to say. And so in knowing that, I have decided to do a completely different type of reading than I normally do. I am going to completely rely on my cards and tools to help me to know what needs to be said. So in a way, it's a general reading. However, like I said, instead of having a planned out presentation for this reading, I'm going to rely completely on what the cards guide me to say and take from what I have heard loudly and put that forward. However, I will say there has been 3 clear messages about 2023 in one word, in 3 different words. Number 1 word is get ready. Whatever that means to you for 2023, get ready is a big word. A big word for big words for 2023. The second one is judgment. Not talking about judgment as in, oh, Jesus is coming back and he's going to judge us all. I'm talking about judgment. Really think about that word. How do you judge others? How do you balance your judgment. Do you judge others with the same judgment you put upon yourself? Do you is judgment always nice? Is it necessary? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So really thinking about judgment. Judgment is going to play a big factor into 2023. And the third thing is change. In 2023, we are going to see huge changes. Some good, some bad, but changes. And change, whether it's good or bad, is never fun. Because people like their old shoes. You know, they like their favorite pillows. They like their most comfy pants. You know, they don't like change in general, and they may respond to change differently based on what you love and things like that. So, when it comes to 2023, it's not necessary. Change is really, really needed in our world. It's just gotten to the point that the internet itself, just the development of the internet, created a really big change in so many people. And so it's kind of like that. In 2023, there are things that have just been completely off balance for a long time that need to change. And some of that can be a little rough, and other things we are going to have to work really hard to change. Some things are not going to be overnight things. They'll be things that you have to build upon, take steps forward to do. And so those are the three main words. So I know those, and I'll share those with you, but I'm not going to go too far into that rabbit hole that's in my mind. I do have a doctor's appointment tomorrow too, so I wanted to get this reading in before that appointment, because for me personally, I'm going to prioritize my health this year. That is a big change I need to make. It's not that I wasn't prioritizing my health before. It's just that there are changes that need to be made in my health that I no longer have a lot of control over. So when it gets like that, then you have to seek help for it. And so for me, my health is going to be that's my main priority this year. And you know, that is itself is going to create changes in the way I'm communicating with people, you know, things like that. So that alone is a big change that people may have to adjust to, especially me, right? So anyway, moving on to the reading, I really want to rely on my tools. I might have said that already. But this reading specifically, I'm relying on my cards to tell me what I need to do. But I'm going to take a little second here to drink some water. Okay, so just while I'm doing this, you could take a deep breath, or you can try to focus your mind on what you want to know. In a way, it's a general reading. I might have said that already. But yeah, so we're going to call on, take in deep breaths. We're just going to stay and be present right now. We're going to call on Father Time and Father Sky and Mother Earth and the heart chakra. And we call on Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun. And we call on all spirit guides and deities that we believe in to come and be with us in this moment and help guide us and tell us what we need to know. And I ask that everyone be able to use their own discernment and their own intuition about what they need, if they even want to watch this video. And we are grateful for today and grateful for each other. So let's see what happens here. Okay, sorry, I had to blow my nose quick. So like I said, this reading will be a little bit different because we are mainly focusing on communication. What needs to be communicated? Okay, so the first card we have Ace of Coins. Let's see what we can put with that. So yeah, I think instead of showing each card and calling it out, Ace of Coins, so that there is a lot to do with abundance and money. A lot of people, especially in the U.S., are very, very dependent on money. The thing about that is that really when it comes to money in the form of bills, coins, and those sorts of things, those are really more man-made. Those weren't natural forms of currency or forms of abundance in the very beginning of humanity, right? Those things were created. So there are a lot of people who have become dependent upon things like paper money, savings, banks, those kind of things. And though there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, because a lot of people work hard for that and it helps them pay their bills and things like that. And though we're not just going to be able to erase it anytime soon, because it's been created. I do firmly believe one of the things I did want to talk about is not relying on man-made type things as your belief in abundance, so to speak. I would love to see a world where we could go back to things like trade, trading actual things for other things. However, on the same time, you have to consider that the reality is that not everyone, even if we had full equality, not everyone is born capable of work, for instance. So trading food for work. Some people just cannot work. They have different types of capabilities. So even though I would love to go back to things like trade, fair trade, or equal energy exchanges concerning abundance, instead of relying on all these papers of how much money you have, how valuable your estate is, how much you own. It's always about ownership, right? Like we tend to believe that we own so many things when we really don't own any of it. Like people have a house, they'll buy a house, but the reality is that the government technically owns this entire the entire country. So things like that is kind of like a false narrative that we just need to keep in mind when we think about things like money. And I do feel like in 2023 that's going to become more apparent. Emperor in reverse with the number 4. So I believe that this is going to start to create itself, this idea that abundance and needs are greater than the ability of paper. You can't eat a dollar bill. So if you're hungry, you have to utilize that dollar bill to buy some food. And that's strange, right? Rather than just going out and picking it out of your garden. So that's really important. Let's see. Temperance and balance. So really balancing out that So when one good thing to change is your attitude about when we get these learned behaviors, which a lot of us have learned from growing up in the country we live in or whatnot. We get these learned behaviors, and in order for really healthy changes to come, sometimes you have to change those behaviors. So temperance is required. So whenever you start to feel like annoyed by perhaps things like bills, maybe you've gained a lot of bills came in the mail, or the price of food is going up and it's annoying you, use temperance to consider how abundant you are and think about what you may be comparing yourself to. Like a lot of in America, a lot of people will say somebody is low income or somebody's very well off just based on their appearance of how much they own. When the reality is that when you're homeless, for instance, you have nothing to lose. So it's a little bit easier for you to take certain risks. It becomes less fearful for you to take certain risks. When you're rich, people kind of tend to assume that you're just happy, but you're really not. You can be very rich and very famous and be incredibly unhappy. I think we all have seen this and know it. It's just a matter of changing our temperance about it and really allowing that truth to absorb within us, instead of being half-handed, instead of thinking that all our eggs or no eggs are in one basket, when the reality is there's many baskets. Does that make sense? 9 and the 333. There's going to be a lot of messages coming in. There's going to be a lot of passion in these messages that you're going to be hearing from people. Some people are going to be pretty afraid of things that they shouldn't be afraid of, it says. Sometimes we get a lot of irrational fear. Empress, okay? Sometimes we get a lot of irrational fears within us, and so just really looking at your fear and whether it's something that you should really be afraid of or not. I was just telling someone the other day that there's rumors about tarot cards. Oh, they're evil. They're encouraging evil. But they're really just paper with words on them. The relationship, the intention that you create with your tools, such as cards, is really where that fear or things like that can come in. It's not the actual card. So when you're burning a card or sweeping your floor, technically sweeping your floor is technically dark magic. You're cleaning up something. You're getting rid of something, getting something out of your house. It's technically dark magic. So being afraid when people say, oh, dark magic, witches do dark magic, it's kind of silly because they're not consciously looking at how much dark magic they are doing every day in their lives, even when they go to the bathroom, right? So, King of Staves, I do think that there are going to be a lot more men, masculine type energy, realizing that can't do it by itself. Contrary to a lot of beliefs, masculine energy alone, being the sole source or head of the household or whatnot, is not a good balance. If we didn't need women or multiple genders, then we wouldn't have them. They wouldn't exist. Can men function without women? No. Can men and women function without people who are not men and women, or without multiple different facets of gender, multiple different facets of energy? everyone, I really believe that everyone, both male, female, whatnot, has both masculine and feminine energy with them. And when they do, there is a more powerful, balanced, strengthening energy. It's just like trying to separate the two is like trying to take the day away from the night and only having day or only having night. You can't have both. You should have both, because you can't grow flowers without rain. So sometimes you have to have rainy days. You can't progress in anything if you're not balancing out all energies. Just because a lot of people count a certain energy as negative doesn't necessarily mean it is. And everything has a balance. We have that would be a really good way to look at it, would be every time you're thinking of something, like if you're angry, thinking about both sides of it. The sun in reverse. Interesting. Justice. So justice will be coming, but in a different way. And there is going to be some people that are trying hard to balance their emotions, which is a good thing. You cannot erase emotions, contrary to a lot of people will say things like, oh, if you would just heal that, oh, if you would just stop getting angry. You can't stop getting angry. Emotions are a definite part of humanity. We can't just stop them. So you gotta learn to deal with them in a healthy way that is right for you and anybody involved. Hangman. So a lot of people are going to be coming out of their shell and kind of speaking of their truth, and that's not going to be comfortable for that many people. I got the 9 of coins again. Okay. Let's switch decks here. That's not going to be very comfortable for a lot of people, but the reality is that people do need to speak their truth and tell their story. We can't understand and relate to each other without those types of things. And when we are not concentrating on, when we think that our story is the only important story, we're that's a very lonely place. Even sad or scary stories and stuff, they still can teach us a lot of things. Back in the 1970s, when a child went missing, they didn't have a lot of resources to figure out what to look for as far as predatory behavior and things like that. And they didn't have systems in place that were helpful in finding missing children, for instance. And so in order to create those things that do help, they had to be willing to look at some of the dark things, talking to people who had a history of predatory behavior, looking at the behaviors of things like serial killers. And that's no fun for anybody, but in order to obtain a better system, you have to be willing to look at those things. So sometimes you do have to listen to people who you might consider enemies. And there's a lot of stigmas also attached. For instance, I was thinking about how really a lot of people focus on things like, there's on the streets in Deep City, in the streets, there's a lot of violence and there's a lot of pimping out and stuff like that. But the reality is that there is actually just as much pimping going on in your church. There's a lot of pimping or fraud or criminal activity going on in government, in a lot of people with ties that might seem like good people because they're wearing a tie when they're really not. They're really, quite hateful in their mindset and don't have good intentions. So it says, embrace change. Once again, change is coming up. I move easily and confidently through the changes in my life. Okay, so again, that change is coming up. Make gateways in your walls. What I'm saying by that is make doorways outside of your walls so that you have pathways and things that will help you when it comes to times, when we're thinking about that, when we come out of our house on a winter day, before we go out of the house, we know to put our coat on, we know to wear the right shoes so we don't hurt our feet or freeze our feet. It's the same thing when you're thinking about your own energy, when you're coming forward to other people, making sure you have the right coat on, making sure you have the right attire to keep you warm and keep you safe, but do come out of that door. Also, getting a lot of sacral chakra. A lot of people are going to be dealing with the reality of fertility or the reality of pregnancy, postpartum, menopause, things like that. And that is because in order to accept some of the things that we want to change, we do need to look at the reproduction organs of women and men, and LGBTQIA. So there's going to be a heavy focus on those types of things and really evaluation of whether a fetus is a fetus or things like that. Again, that's going to come up this year. Again, I'm seeing divine feminine energy coming up strong to help balance that masculine energy. We need to focus on the forests. There's a lot of emphasis on really creating light and knowledge within the forest, finding cures, finding medicines, really bringing awareness about environmental needs and changes that are going on. What is that? Trying to see what this card is about. There's I think it's like a beaver on there. So that's that deck. I'm trying to see if I get anything else on here. Focus on the phases. So every month or every few months, really looking at those quarterly progress, being aware of that and really aiming your staff at things like the future. Let's see what tools we need for this year. Okay, we got candles. So candles are going to be important. Focus, healing, and manifesting. Really important that we do keep the light in mind. Think about what you want to become, who you want to be, and really putting the burn to it. So when you are working out, usually for the first time or things like that, you can start to feel the burn in your muscles, and that's good. That means you're actually getting them moving. So really focusing on that when it comes to manifesting what you want to bring into your life, thinking about the burn. What needs to get burned, get the light, the fire under its butt, so to speak. Dream catcher. So a lot of people are going to start seeing that their visions and their dreams and anything unconscious is very important. They're going to start seeing that matters a great deal in comparison to just relying solely on mind and physical energy. Coins coming up again. So I said that part already. Let's see. Got crystal. prophecy, energy, and healing. A lot of more people are going to start being more honest about what they are seeing. I think I kind of said that already, but what I mean in difference to that is they're going to start embracing their gifts. They're going to start feeling that more comfortable talking about things like, oh, this bird came to my house and I really think that it was telling me that grandma had a message for me. They're going to start saying things like that. Full moon, completion, success, pinnacle. A lot of people are going to complete some things, and there are going to be a lot more messages coming in as well. So as people are starting to acknowledge and focus on things like, oh, I think I saw a spirit, or things like that, without being afraid of what, not be, instead of just assuming it's a hallucination, which it could be. And if you're hallucinating, then if you're taking a drug that is a hallucinogen, then don't rely on what you may see. But if you're completely sober and you're seeing strange stuff, people are going to start acknowledging that. People are going to start understanding that it isn't just about, we can't get by with only this masculine dominant energy. We have to start seeing that there are plenty of things we can't see that are real. Moonrise, flower moon, romance. Again, there's going to be a lot of people falling in and out of love. A lot of that, or a lot of people realizing and being grateful for the people around them, having more gratitude for them, starting to feel love for them, intention, wishes. So planting your seeds right now is really important, really starting to get ready. Oak moon, strength, lasting, fortune. So a lot of these changes are going to be long term. They have to do more with the full intention of the universe and not just individual. Did I go through it? Nope, I missed the stack. Okay. Let's see what astrological. So Aquarius, we are in the age of Aquarius. Okay. Sagittarius and Libra. So I'm getting full moon in Sagittarius and full moon in Libra. So there's going to be a lot of targeted energy, targeted at direct things. It's going to come in like burst, like you're getting hit with an arrow. It's going to come in strong and then spread, kind of like getting a shot. It's going to come in perhaps very unexpectedly for people, but also be a vital long-term change. And with the Libra, there's a lot of balance that needs to be done. So that just confirms what I was saying, that a lot of balance has to be established. And oh my gosh, my leg hurts. I was sitting too long in that position. And so, I think we're just about done here. Take time to breathe out. Take time to breathe out. So the more you look at it in a gentle but firm effort, the better. I really think like one powerful thing about like yoga as an exercise is that it seems like it's just simple, slow movements. But in each of those simple, slow movements, there's a lot of power, and you can really reshape your entire body and really develop your muscles in that way. It doesn't have to be, I mean, not to diss runners or whatnot, it doesn't have to be that big heavy sweating purge. You can sweat just as much from the small little moves, and they can be just as powerful. So taking time as you're embracing the energy of 2023 to be gentle but firm about it. Be, really pack the punch into that gentle way, so yeah, instead of jumping right into big puddles, or, well, you can jump in puddles all you want, but instead of just jumping right into the lake, taking a little time for your body to adjust, for your mentality to adjust, but still being firm enough to go into the lake, to go and swim. So putting your whole foot in and then letting that get used to it, weight around your foot a little bit, then go up to your knees and so on and so forth. So that is what the universe is saying. Really take time to breathe out, pushing out any fear, but pushing things out of the way so that you're still moving forward. You're not sitting idle. You're not hiding. You're still moving forward into that energy and accepting it with grace and strength and powerful action. So that is all I got. Let's see how long I've been on here. Oh, it doesn't. 36 minutes. That's not bad. It's not bad for a full 2023 reading. So that is all I got. I hope it helps. I do gotta be honest and say I feel like I'm repeating myself. Probably because I've heard a lot of these things for the last 2 months. And actually, even more strongly, I've heard a lot of these things, same things, in the last couple weeks from different people, from my spirit guides and things like that. And so I do feel like I'm repeating myself now in saying them to you. And I thank everybody who did receive those similar type messages, that communicated them with me, and for your participation. And thank you for watching. So I hope this helps you in some way and confirms things for you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Scroll on, don't feel obligated. And much love. Have a great day.